right, so we got a director's take here from Aaron Keller saying looking back and looking ahead. Hey everyone, it's our first director's take of the year. The team had a great break and we're super excited for season 15 and beyond. You might have noticed our recent announcements for Overwatch 2 Spotlight, and I can't wait for you to see what we have coming up during the first few seasons of this year. I'm excited too, especially not having BlizzCon nowadays, it's nice to have something else, right? So for this blog, I want to spend a little time looking at some of the changes we made last year, talk about how they went, and how we want to improve them for the coming year, all while shamelessly plugging Overwatch 2 Spotlight. Let's get into it. How many times are we going to see the words Overwatch 2 Spotlight? Honestly, I'm just excited. We started last year with a set of changes targeted at moment-to-moment gameplay and our competitive systems. We made a set of broad changes to our core PvP gameplay by rebalancing our heroes' health pools, challenging projectile sizes, and reworking passives. Now, we're not going to talk about that stuff fully, but what I will say, regardless of if you liked the Season 9 changes or hated them, it still got people to play the game and give it an attempt to try to play it, right? They were like, okay, you know what? I'll give it a go. Some people loved it, some people hated it, but it definitely made the game feel a little bit more fresh at the time. Obviously, something like that isn't groundbreaking, right? I say that because that's the words they're using for the Spotlight, but it definitely feels like it made people want to at least try it. And that's what you need to do, especially when the game is, this deep into the game now of Overwatch. It's had its ups, it's had its downs, right? So doing new things to the core game is how you get players to at least try it out. Whether they're going to love it or not, that's different, but yeah. So, and it says we also completely overhauled our competitive system. We think the idea of a yearly refresh to the game was successful and are looking to have a major update to the way it plays every year. I'm okay with that. Once again, it depends on what it is, but I love the idea of that because it makes it feel fresh and gives you something to look forward to after January every year, for the most part, right? However, we want to go even bigger in 2025. I like to hear that. Details to come in Spotlight, as well as the next director's take blog. Hey, we're getting debated by the Spotlight. No, I'm just kidding. We are pretty happy with the new direction of competitive play. The game is now more approachable for new players, and it's easier than ever to group up with your friends and play together in competitive. This approach to doing a rank reset worked well and gave players both new and seasoned a new skill tier to reach. Yeah, but Champion felt impossible because of how they have the ladder set up right now in top 500 where everybody camps. Queue times get too long, so you can't actually get the Champion. So you have to grind through 30-minute queues to get there, right? Or be unbelievably good that you're winning 70% of your games. However, I probably should have read the next sentence. However, Champion has proven to be a little too difficult for our top players to achieve. As we approach Season 15, we're looking to adjust how players rank into different skill tiers after we reset the ranks again. Our highest ranks will shift to include a larger percentage of our total player population, and we should see more players earn the right to call themselves champions. Heck yeah! That's what I'm talking about, baby. Now I can say I'm champion at the game. Once again, Blizzard knows I've given this feedback. There needs to be a rework of the ladder at top 500. This is not a competitive ladder right now with how it works. And I'm telling you, I still think there would have been more champion players if the ladder wasn't as is, because the ladder gets really long queue times because everybody is basically logging on alts and then not playing. And then the ladder in the top 100 ends up just being camped. And then everybody else is just battling in different ranks below that while logging on alts. So it's I think there would have been more champion players regardless if they had looked into changing how that ladder works, right? So, but it's very niche, which is why they don't. We're also looking to introduce some new systems to our competitive play, the first of which will be announced in a few weeks. New systems, okay. Hey, I'm excited about that. All right. We've heard two primary complaints about 2024's competitive weapon reward, Jade weapons. One of the biggest criticisms we've heard is how our Jade weapon variants are getting vaulted at the end of the season. That's a valid criticism. Competitive weapons are intended to show your involvement in our competitive queues per year. As time goes by, you will have a different set of weapons based on how often you play comp each year. Can I give a little bit of a side note on this one? Just a little bit of a note on this one. Can we get Twitch drops for competitive points? I know that it's kind of the opposite of what they're saying in the blog post, but this game has a lot of quick play players trying to force players to have to go into ranked out of quick play when they just want to vibe out and have a good time. You know, maybe there's a way to get players to be able to get a couple of competitive points. And so instead of tier skips, how about competitive points? Allow players to be able to earn a weapon or something like that. I think that'd be really cool. I would love to see that because I get, you know, obviously you're going to have more weapons if you play comp, right? But I think, like, at least allow some players to be able to earn those through drops. That's my take. Obviously, I'm biased, by the way, when I say that. I am a Twitch streamer who will benefit greatly from these drops. Therefore, it is a very biased take. But like I said, I think there's a lot of players who just play quick play and may not be able to grind the weapons sometimes that way. So it's a good way to kind of do that, right? Oh, I know it's an incentive for comp, but like, I mean, let's be real here. Like, we have a lot of gold weapons in the game now. There's I mean, heck, even if maybe don't even give them the new. Maybe if you want to meet halfway, you don't even give the new competitive one. Maybe the gold weapon one. Like, there's something to allow players don't feel like they have to. Right? That's all I'm saying. All right, but once again, I want to also put that my take on that is going to be biased, okay? Anyway, keeping competitive weapons limited to the year gives them the ability to tell that story. Some of us have been hoping for a weapon skin that has a higher end look to it, and we've got something in 2025 that is pretty spectacular. So while Jade weapon variants are going away for now, we've got an amazing new weapon variant to collect in 2025 that will be out of this world. Out of this world. Now, they say out of this world. Is that a play on words there with that to, like, give a hint? Because the vibe I'm getting from that is, like, out of this world. So it's like, okay, we'll say then. Yeah, some chat's saying galaxy design, space weapons. I mean, that'd be cool. Actually, that'd be really cool, right? That's a much better approach than a Jade weapon. Right? That is a much better approach. That is worth it, right? Like that sounds nice. Additionally, we also love the response to drives and think it's a great way to end each season, which is why for this final season of the 2024 season, we're offering double the competitive points you get. I do want to point out, by the way, I do like drives. I think there needs to still be adjusted, but I like the idea of drives. I think there needs to be a look into, like, making some of the rewards more permanent. I know that you want to kind of have the FOMO of, like, oh, I got drives and you don't have the title over it, but I also think, like, there should be a world where, like, let people have that customization and let them keep it. Let's look at heroes. The 3 heroes this past year have been some of our most mobile and 3-dimensional heroes yet. Hot take, I think this is one of their best hero release years yet. Out of the 3 heroes they had this year, I thought all of them were excellent. Our quirky and adventurous archaeologist Venture quite literally got underneath opponents and shook things up. Juno glided into the scene with a unique vertical range to keep her allies healthy. Finally, Hazard brought a new level of anarchy as our first tank that can wall climb. Each of these heroes has introduced a level of verticality that really makes battles more dynamic, and we want to continue bringing new heroes that can be engaging for both those of you using them and the opponents playing against them. I really did like their hero releases this year, right? You know, obviously you can argue, like, yeah, but, like, Hazard's like, you know, meta, and I'm getting sick and tired of playing against a Hazard, and I can get that. But I still think Hazard as a hero, like, himself is a great hero. Well designed, super fun to play. Not necessarily fun to play against right now, but I think that's more of just because of, like the damage, the right-click feedback you get, where, like, it doesn't feel like you can do as much. But, like, I think they're all 3 heroes are great. So, looking ahead to 2025, we're looking into how can we make all of our heroes more engaging and unique for players. This is something the team is wanting to change up and look forward to sharing more soon. Did I mention that you're going to want to check out Spotlight? So they're saying they want to make heroes more engaging and unique, and then mention to watch Spotlight. Okay. We also ran our first 6v6 events last year and early this year. These took the form of 6v6 roll queue and 6v6 min 1 max 3. The roll queue version accounted for nearly 10% of all play hours in the game for most of its event run. That's still pretty good. And the roll queue version accounted for 10% aligns with the open queue. So what I mean by that is open queue has the player numbers, if I recall, and you can remind me, I think it was 10%. That was, like, around the amount of players that play open queue. So that shows you that more than likely a lot of the open queue area where it's more of that role queue 6v6, there's 10% of the players. Like, let's say that Overwatch has 50 million monthly players, right? Like, someone's gonna be like, haha, that is still 5 million people who like that mode, which is why I still think it's okay in a world where you have both of them. If you have 5 million people who just want to go play 6v6, why take that away from them if they want to go play 6v6? And if you have 45 million people who want to go play 5v5, then leave that there. You know what I mean? Now, obviously, that could shift and everything, but you get what I'm saying, right? The role queue version accounted for nearly 10%. For reference, our role queue quick play mode accounts for roughly 35 to 40% of play hours. This was lower during the 6v6 tests. There's definitely a demand for a mode with this team size. Also, I meant 40 million on that one, not 45 million. Right? No, 50 million. I was right. 10%, 50 million is... whatever. My math is all over the place. I did it right and then I did it wrong. Okay. There's definitely a demand for a mode with this team size, but it's still uncertain how large that demand is. We're going to run a mini competitive season of 6v6 starting mid-season 15. So there you go, chat. They're bringing a 6v6 rank to mid-season 15. It's still a little early to say what 6v6's place is in an Overwatch with a decent amount of people playing it. I think that it's probably here to stay in some form, but so far we're not ready to swap the core format of the game. This is an interesting paragraph. Am I wrong? So they're saying that they think it's going to be in the game now. So like if you're a 6v6 enthusiast, it's going to be there. But they end it with they're not ready to swap to the core format of the game so far. But that leaves like a window where like if they see like player interest like go through the roof, that they're willing to make changes, right? They're leaving that open, which is, that's the first time I feel like it's kind of been open rather than like, no, we're going this way. That's how I'm getting that, right? That's what I'm getting from that. It's like they're not against that now. And normally they're pretty like, so interesting. It's very interesting to see where that goes. Now, keep in mind, by the way, before we talk about that, some of the people were like, is the groundbreaking stuff 6v6? This paragraph right here, I think, clears that up. It's not. Speaking of game modes, we want to take a moment on what to expect for Clash and Quick Play and Competitive. Now, I'll give my take on Clash before I read whatever this is going to be. I like Clash. As the matches get closer, it's been a lot more fun to me, but the last points are miserable, so I can see where people don't like Clash. I kind of like the fast, chaotic gameplay that Clash had, but the last points made it kind of hard for people to play, so. All right, anyway, it says, this past year we introduced Clash, which was inspired by the original Assault maps, but gave players a chance to attack and defend throughout the course of this match. Clash has had some really good matches, which they're great when they're great, but we've also seen a lot of constructive feedback. Right now, Clash has a few problems with some matches having a team steamroll and ended much faster than a typical Overwatch game. Yep. It can also be confusing as to which point is active for some players. I did make that feedback from the get-go. So starting in Season 15, Clash maps are going to be removed out of comp as we take the time to look at these maps and work to find ways to deliver the best competitive experience for all players. Listen, here's my take. I like Clash, but if they're going to take it seriously and rework it, I'm okay with this to make it a better version in the future. That's where I'm at with it. But now let me also give something else here. Okay? I want to give something here. That was kind of the similar vibe we had when they said they were going to, like, remember when they were like, okay, we're going to take Paris and, like, Horizon out of the game and we'll kind of look into, like, doing stuff, and they never did anything with it? I want to make sure they're actually doing something with it, right? Like actually go and do that, and that's what I want to see, right? I want to make sure they're actually doing that one. Like, going through and reworking those on that one, like going through with it, right? It says, we'll keep you updated. Okay, it says, Clash maps are going to be removed from comp to deliver the best comp experience. We'll keep you updated on the progress we make there. In the meantime, we're going to keep Clash in quick play and other unranked game modes. Okay, seeing this right here, I imagine that means they'll probably make it better for comp in the future. So I'm glad they're going to look into it, and players will still have the option to play it in quick play. It just sounds like they want to make it better for competitive. But, like, okay. 2024 was a huge year, but I know 2025 is going to be even bigger, and I can't wait for the team to share more into Overwatch 2 Spotlight on February 12th. It was hard to write this one last time, I promise. So until then, let's make a great game. Hey, I mean, good blog post, kind of gives us a kind of an update of where the game's going direction-wise, but like obviously we're not going to know truly anything until the 12th. I mean, listen, I'm a generally optimistic person. I'm excited to see what they have, and hopefully it leads to more of a positive look at things, right? But, you know, 12th is going to be very important, so we'll see. So, good to get all the information there, and I'm excited for the 12th. We're actually less than 2 weeks, so I'm looking forward to it.